Hey everyone, Kit Saberfang here, wishing you all a happy and healthy new year. But before we totally close the door on 2023, I thought to surprise y'all with my 5 favorite wrestling matches of the past year. This is by no means a definitive best of list or anything like that, it's just the matches that stuck with me and left an impact on my year of wrestling fandom. There's some obvious picks for sure, but I hope you'll come away with a new match to check out, or maybe one to revisit with a fresh mindset. I'd also like to thank everyone who has supported me this past year, whether it's subscribing to the channel, leaving a comment, joining our Discord, or sharing my videos. I greatly appreciate having all of you with me, and I've got a few plans in the works for the new year, so with any luck, we'll be seeing a lot more of each other in 2024. So as we enter a new year of pro wrestling, let's look back together. You'll have to forgive me for some more of the basic editing in this one, as it's really come down to the wire. These aren't any particular order, so let's go back to the beginning of the year. In a year where the phrase, "restore the feeling," was a common refrain among some circles of pro wrestling, no match did more to live up to that mantra than Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. And the feeling they restored was that of New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom event, laying claim to the match of the year only 4 days into its first month, something we haven't truly felt since the times of Omega vs Okada at the Dome. This was the story of Kenny Omega, the god of pro wrestling, returning to New Japan's cerulean blue ring for the first time in 4 years to take on the man who he left his title for an ace, Will Ospreay. But he wasn't just coming back to claim a vanity title. He's back for the belt that New Japan created in his honor, the IWGP US Heavyweight title, now held by Ospreay. As English commentator Gino Gambino so aptly laid out, "If this is a wrestling god, he is one who giveth, and one who will taketh away from the champ." This is further crystallized by their pair of entrances. In previous years, Omega had famously come to the ring in the spirit of Undertale, fueled by hopes, dreams, friendship, and a desire to change the world of wrestling. This year, however, comes a different Omega. A man who had returned to take from his opponent everything he fought so valiantly to achieve. A menace, a true final boss, a one-winged angel incarnate. Ospreay, flanked by his friends and allies in United Empire, made his intentions clear as well. He's not just fighting for himself and his friends, but for the New Japan fans who weathered the storm with Ospreay in Omega's notable absence and came out hungry on the other side. 2 of the absolute best wrestlers in the world, 2 truly generational talents at the apex of modern pro wrestling. What follows is nearly 40 minutes of some of the cleanest, hardest hitting, death-defying wrestling we'd see all year. The 5-star Tokyo Dome Classic was back. And while some may prefer their June encounter at Forbidden Door this year, the sublime production from New Japan Pro Wrestling and the lack of outside gimmicks and interference makes for a more focused and dramatic contest. The emotions of each competitor on clear and deliberate display, making Ospreay's final act of defiance all the more memorable. Omega may have walked out of the Big Egg with the title, but in the year to come, this match, along with 7 more Meltzer scale breaking moments, would cement Ospreay as the heir apparent to Omega's vision for pro wrestling. How do you define aura? When we talk about pro wrestlers, we often speak of an intangible quality, an it factor, the invisible energy of powerfully charismatic individuals that keep your eyes fixed to them. Whether it's a projection of strength, intensity, confidence, a strong aura is undeniable, and it's something you've either got or you don't. And when we talk about aura in pro wrestling, we've got to talk about Giulia. The charismatic powerhouse of Stardom and current NJPW strong women's champion, Giulia's presence exudes star power before she even enters the ring, and has a hard-hitting, impactful style to back it up. Simply put, Giulia is as dangerous as her aura is powerful. There is, however, another. Saori Anou is a freelance wrestler who spends much of her time in Stardom and is quite possibly an actual sadist. Her cold, vacant stare only ever seems to break during times of violence, the shift in mood influenced by whether she's inflicting or receiving the punishment. All while exuding an aura of big dick energy so massive, she's already been in the ring for 2 minutes prior to her entry. I am so sorry for that joke, shoutouts to Don Callis. Hitting Giulia, a woman known for inflicting incredible violence against her opponents, against Saori, who just loves being a f***ed up Ice Queen gremlin, is like putting a black bear freshly starved from hibernation against a Bengal tiger shot full of horse testosterone. You know you're in for something gnarly, and none of it would be pretty. So anyway, Saori starts blasting about 2 minutes into this match and splits her head open off a fisherman's suplex into the crowd. She rises, already covered in her own blood, and proceeds to clear sections of the crowd with a stare that I can only imagine looked something like this. The rest of the match is a brutal affair as Giulia avoids attempted murder charges while Saori writhes around like a little freak and fights from underneath, absorbing and surviving Giulia until the very end. And even when it's over, they're both left wanting more. It's certainly a match that left me wanting more as well, and that's why, even if it's not the most technically impressive match in Stardom this year, it's one that left a lasting impression. With plenty left on the table for a rematch, it's one I'll be looking forward to in 2024. Also, I just want to point out that Giulia here is only 5'4", and the Empress of BDE stands at 5'3". For some reason, online weirdos love to make a big deal about Joshi wrestlers' heights, and I'm here to tell you, it doesn't matter, it never did, and they can still most likely kick all of your asses. That's right, this is Riho discourse, and I am telling you, she will choke your ass out, and unless you're a wrestler, you can shut the fuck up. Whenever I sit down to watch Japanese pro wrestling, I can't help but appreciate all the little details and differences from wrestling here in the West that bring me joy. We're talking the little things like the dull conch of their ring bells, the way wrestlers regularly second for each other outside of the ring, showing their support and acting as an emotional link for the audience. Another is the focus on calling attention to and celebrating a wrestler's personal milestones, including debuts, anniversaries, and of course, retirements and graduations. This year, we saw a number of high-profile retirements from the world of professional wrestling, including the likes of Booker T, Keiji Muto, Saki-sama, Himeka, The Great Muta, and Saki Akai. I also only named 4 individuals just now. Pro wrestling is very funny. And while we may never see these wrestlers in the ring again, it's the Tokyo Joshi Pro graduation of Yuka Sakazaki that managed to bring a flash flood's worth of tears. If you're unfamiliar with the term, graduation in this context is drawn from pop idol culture, in which some ongoing music groups regularly cycle through its members, and so when it comes time for someone to leave the group, a graduation concert is typically held in their honor as a celebration of one's time in the group, and to, as they say in the biz, send the fans home happy. In the case of Tokyo Joshi Pro and Joshi wrestling in general, it's always had a connection to Japanese idol culture, dating back to the late 70s with the chart-topping beauty pair and into the 80s with Crush Gals. TJPW has its own in-house pop idol group, Up Up Girls Kakao Pro Wrestling, which itself is a spin-off of the larger Up Up Girls group. They have cross-promotional events including idol festival appearances, as well as crossover performers such as Yuki Arai, who is part of the group SKE48. As one of the promotion's most tenured performers, Sakazaki made her pro wrestling debut in a TJPW ring back in 2013, and by all accounts, has accomplished everything the promotion has to offer. A 3-time Princess of Princess champion, 4-time POP tag team champion, once with the Big Kaiju and 3 times with Mizuki, 2022 Tokyo Princess Cup winner, and a 1-time tag team tournament win with Shoko Nakajima, which we can just count as a Max Heart win. And on top of it all, she's already been signed to a major US promotion since 2019. You remember? All Elite Wrestling? You know, she's in the game. Right there? Remember? Anyways, the main event of TJPW's 10th anniversary sees Yuka Sakazaki stepping into a Tokyo Joshi ring for potentially the last time in a 3-way contest between her fellow Day Ones, Shoko Nakajima, and the promotion's current champ and forever ace, Miyu Yamashita, all of whom enter the ring with tears in their eyes. The match itself is a showcase for the 3 OGs, as the tears of the match quickly give way to determination, as no one wants to see Sakazaki go, but to not try and defeat her would be disrespectful. Yamashita and Nakajima show no quarter to Sakazaki, with only momentary glimpses of sorrow between each blow. Finally, having realized that Sakazaki is bested her, Shoko Nakajima brings herself up one last time, not in defiance, but in acceptance. The two embrace, and just before Yuka lands the knockout blow, Shoko whispers, as the bell rings, signaling both an end to the match and to Sakazaki's time in Tokyo Joshi Pro. A single tear streams down Nakajima's face. Yuka is left to contemplate this finality while her sugary sweet I Can Fly theme song blares throughout the hall. I talked earlier about the little things that make Japanese pro wrestling special, and this dichotomy of the powerful, emotional battles that we've witnessed paired with these sparkly outfits and cheerful backdrop is special and at times chilling. It's the needle drop that snaps our protagonists back to reality to reflect on both what they've done and where they go from here. Yuka is joined in the ring by their contemporaries, and fresh from their battle, they sit with each other and share their feelings with one another. In Tokyo Joshi Pro, feelings aren't just important, it's the fuel used to forge their strength and spirit. In a promotion where there is no such thing as heels or faces, it's these emotional links between its roster and their willingness to confront these emotions that drive everything forward. Yuka always played a pivotal role in showing the world what makes Tokyo Joshi Pro different and special. And now it's up to everyone else to continue that work as her time in TJPW has come to a close. Is what I would be saying if she didn't then challenge Mizuki to a 3-minute ass kicking, signaling the true end to Yuka Sakazaki's TJPW career. And can you believe it? This ending is somehow even more devastating as Yuka and Mizuki wrestle to a draw and proceed to ugly cry in the middle of the ring. There's a graduation ceremony, and I have to be lighthearted and humorous about this right now, if just to keep the tears at bay. Seeing the entire roster line up to say their goodbyes, all of them in full-blown grief, like y'all, she's not dying, but like, why does this feel like a funeral? Arisu, you have got to pull yourself together. Suzume, please help your girl. Oh God, now Suzume's crying. I can't do this. Let's just go to the next match. Oh man. Say what you will about All Elite Wrestling, and boy is there an entire industry dedicated to doing just that these days. But one thing you can't knock is their dedication to delivering on stipulation matches. If they say there'll be anarchy in the arena, they mean full-blown anarchy in an arena. If there's a street fight, they'll take it out to the parking lot. Mimosa Mayhem match, loser gets dunked in a giant vat of the orange and bubbly. And if there's an exploding barbed wire death match, then buddy, you can bet your sweet bottom dollar. Okay, let's maybe just leave that one alone for now. For all of AEW's extreme gimmick matches, however, none are as sadistic or as credible as the Texas Death Match. Whenever AEW announces a fight with the term death match in the title, it seems there are some viewers who conflate the term with the hardcore match stipulations of past promotions, in which the most carnage one could expect was the occasional bag of thumbtacks or a flaming table. But over the past few years, AEW has shown that this is a purposeful distinction, and that tacks and tables are just the surface level of what it's willing to offer. Just as AEW has given platforms to authentically display the different styles of pro wrestling, such as Lucha Libre, Joshi, and Strong Style, the same can be said for its portrayal of deathmatch wrestling. I just want to take a moment here to discuss my personal feelings about deathmatch wrestling, as it's just as controversial a topic among the wrestling fan base as it is with the mainstream public. While it's not a style of wrestling I go out of my way to seek out, I also have no issues with it. I am not bothered by seeing blood or flesh being torn up by barbed wire. In fact, there's only two types of violence I hate seeing in wrestling, and that's any kind of debilitating injury and the use of fire in general, because time and experience has shown me that the number of promotions that prepare fire extinguishers ahead of time is too damn low. I can also totally understand those who can't or won't stomach it. It's absolutely not for everyone, and that's perfectly fine. One of my favorite aspects of pro wrestling is how, just like other art forms such as music, film, theater, there are many different styles, genres, and interpretations of what pro wrestling can be. And pro wrestling is a spectrum, and on one end you can have the blood-soaked, open wound gluing world of deathmatch wrestling, and on the opposite end, there can exist the sugary sweet princess realms of TJPW or even the schoolroom style showdowns of Choco Pro Wrestling. Pro wrestling doesn't have to all be the same thing to exist. Now, let's get back to the match where, oh my god! This is a feud between two men that escalated to the point of needing a death match to solve their differences after one of them, Swerve Strickland, broke into the home of Hangman Adam Page and put a wizard's curse on his firstborn child. So it's understandable when Hangman doesn't want to wait for his music or stop to pose with fireworks, but rushes Swerve from the jump and brings with him an intensity typically reserved for the biggest title bouts. The well-earned intensity and passion from Hangman Page is the backbone of this match, as he reminds the audience what this is really about, stapling his child's drawings to the face of Swerve, the same drawings he mocked during his chilling visit. It becomes understandable the lengths to which he's willing to go and the depths he's willing to sink to, which is ultimately Hangman's undoing. Swerve absolutely shines as a villain here in what has to be his greatest performance in a year of nonstop star-making moments. This is without question the most brutal match I'd seen all year, featuring a staple gun, cinder blocks, shards of glass, tables, chairs, barbed wire tables and chairs, all while being utilized to enhance the brutality of their wrestling technique in an attempt to inflict the most damage and suffering possible. I understand not wanting to witness this type of carnage, but if it's something you feel you can endure, it's one of the most wonderfully executed death matches of all time. A true modern classic of the genre. Mizuki's year started in a bittersweet fashion, having finally achieved Tokyo Joshi's top prize, the Princess of Princess Championship. However, it came at the expense of her best friend and Magical Sugar Rabbit's partner, Yuka Sakazaki. In other promotions, this would have become some wild blood feud that ends their friendship. But TJPW is in other promotions, and so they forge ahead, now stronger than ever, and recapture the Princess of Princess Tag Team Championships during TJPW's first US show from 1-2 million, the team of Maki Ito and Miyu Yamashita. In the process, this makes Mizuki the first double champion in the history of the promotion. It's the year of the rabbit, and things are good. Things would take an unfortunate turn in May when Yuka Sakazaki would announce her upcoming graduation from Tokyo Joshi Pro, which itself would be put into question when Sakazaki had to take time off to relieve a neck injury, forcing the pair to surrender the Princess of Princess Tag Team Championships. By the end of the year, Mizuki would also lose her singles championship to someone she'd taken a title from earlier, Miyu Yamashita. It's the year of the rabbit, and things are bad. But let's take a step back for a moment to when Mizuki and Yuka vacated the POP tag team titles. This officially took place during the pre-show of TJPW's June event, Stickout 2-3. On this day, the Magical Sugar Rabbits were originally scheduled to have defended the titles against the team of Daydream, fan favorites and former tag team champions themselves, Rika Tatsumi, and Up Up Girls Miyu Watanabe. Fans were already crushed at the idea of potentially not seeing Sakazaki perform in TJPW again prior to her graduation. And now, a highly anticipated tag team clash had been taken away as well. Heavy is the burden of the champ, as it be Mizuki soldiering onward when her partner cannot. A 2v1 handicap match would be made official for Stickout 2-3, an unusual stipulation not only for Tokyo Joshi, but Japanese wrestling as a whole. In fact, this is only the... Alright, hold on a little second here. Let's go check out Cage Match. Okay, Tokyo Joshi. Match guide. Yeah, 2-on-1 handicap. Okay, well, I gotta check that out. And oh. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's very good. Okay, what were we doing again? This emotional burden is shared by Rika and Miyu, both besides themselves prior to the bell, taking a moment to weigh the circumstances that placed them in this position, along with the moral complications of ganging up on a friend. But as Daydream would quickly realize, Mizuki was still the Princess of Princess champion, and with Yuka Sakazaki still in her corner, they'd soon be in the fight of their lives. This is a match that exemplifies a lot of the qualities that make TJPW such an endlessly fun promotion to watch. A wonderfully executed 2-on-1 encounter that takes advantage of unfortunate circumstances to tell a number of stories through intense emotional exchanges. Mizuki comes out looking incredibly powerful as she creates all sorts of opportunities within the format, Yuka cheering her on throughout the bout. Rika Tatsumi shines as well with her love of Mizuki, flipping the script and turning the 2v1 format against her own partner, while Watanabe takes some of Mizuki's stiffest shots along with one of the cleanest whirling candies to date. This match had me laughing, cheering, screaming, just running through every emotion in what was one of the most entertaining and unexpected matches of the year. A true underrated gem that demands a rewatch from TJPW fans. And that's it. Thank you for staying tuned till the end. You're a real one. Be sure to like, leave a comment, let me know what your favorite matches of the year were, and join the Discord while you're at it. We've got a lot of new things coming to that, so you'll want to join the community and check it out. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.